Welcome to East Tennessee Pinball, part 2 of this video. Been working on this Joker poker. Everything was working, all solenoids, except for the 10-point chime. I tried grounding out. These are the knocker and the 3 chimes. If I grounded them out on the tabs there, they all operated as they should. I guess you couldn't see my hand there, but I just did that grounded out. That works. So that proves that the circuit on the playfield is working. I checked these with a multimeter, these transistors that drive it, and they appeared to be good. I got my baby oscilloscope, and I tried to see the signals coming from the MPU board down here. So that one that's marked there, that's the wire. It's this black and green wire right here. That wire there is the signal that drives that transistor right there. It's hard to see, but it's a second from the right. Anyway, on either side of that is one of these other transistors. So I basically pressed the buttons on the table, and I could see the signal on these other ones when it was operating. See the pulse, and I could not see it on this one. So I'm pretty confident that the reason this 10-point chime is not operating this transistor down here stems from the MPU, the CPU here. So I am, I believe it's probably this chip. If it's not this chip, it's upstream on U3, which is, I think it's this spider chip, but it's one of the spider chips. Anyway, the spider chips are pretty much unobtainium. So I'm really hoping it's this chip right here, which it's a 7417. I've got one of those, so I'm going to swap that chip out. In fact, I already looked on the board here. This one's been swapped out before. Somebody didn't socket it. I wish they would have, because if they would have socketed it, it would take about 30 seconds to put in a new one. But I'm going to pull this off and put a socket in there and put it in a new chip, and we'll see if we get a 10-point chime. Well, here's the bad news. I pulled that chip out of there, put it in my chip tester, and it properly identified the chip. So that means it's probably a good chip. That's not good news. So we'll see where we go from here. All right, so I put a socket in there, put the new 7417 in there. Same exact problem. And I suspected that because the other chip tested good. So let me just back up and kind of show you what the problem is we're dealing with here. So here's the schematics. This is a schematic of the driver section. That's the 10's chime. So that's the output. This is the driver board circuit here. There's not much on the driver board. This is coming in from the MPU, going to that transistor right there, which is that third one over right there, and right to the ground of the coil for the 10's chime. So the driver board, it only has that one transistor, and that transistor is good. And also, if I ground the ground tab there, it chimes. So I know that everything on the playfield and all the wiring harness is good. Just as a reminder, this green black wire is a signal. That's that pin 20 right there. If I put my oscilloscope on that and trigger the 10-point chime, basically hit a 10-point target here, I see no signal on that wire. Now, if I go over to the hundreds points or the 1,000 points, which are 19 and 18, on just adjacent to that, I can see that with the oscilloscope. So I know that those signals are working and that one is not. So I know the problem is on this board. So if you can follow that trace up, well, let me just scroll over to the schematics here for the MPU here. Oops, I think I passed it. Yeah, there it is. So yeah, I've got my cursor right there. That's the 10's chimes unit. It goes through a couple resistors, and it's chip 6. And then it goes over to here. This is, yeah, somewhere on here it says, oh, it's U4, not U3. Anyway, so anyway, that 10's chime unit is chip 6, and it's pin 5 and 6 of chip 6. So this is chip 6 right there. and on the back side of this board, that's where it comes over here to the third transistor, goes up there and goes over to the chips, the pin 6 right there from that chip. And after that, so that's that part of it. So it's coming. Sorry, there's the 10's chime. So we're going through this backwards. We went through that resistor, went through that chip, and then right after that, you go to the U4. So we'll find U4 on here. U4 is that chip right there, and those are an unobtainium. The only way to get one of those is buy a used old junk system on board and pull that chip and hope that chip is good. So this board is effectively junk until I don't have a used system on board. I may get one, but in the meantime, I've got a new replacement, and I want for board. Put this in there, or maybe the client will just want to play this game without a 10-point chime. Save about $300. That's one way to do it. We'll see. But anyway, trace down the problem. I know the problem's right there, but not a good, easy solution for it because that chip is just not very available. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Adios. All right, so I decided just to do one more test on this, make sure absolutely that this chip is the bad chip and it's not something else on the board here. I'm going to go ahead and measure the inputs to this chip by activating the playfield here. And so I'm going to start with the ones that are working. I'm going to start with the 1000's chime. That's pin 10 and 11 on this chip. So that's 8, 9, there's 10. So this is 1000s. I need to activate 1000 point. Pop bumpers is a good one. I don't know if you can see that very well on the camera, but it's going off. The light's going from green to off. And the other one, it goes from green. It's flickering on red. That one's working. The hundreds is 9 and 8. So it's going from green to off on that one, and the output goes from green to red, all like it's supposed to. And on the 10s is 5 and 6. So activate the 10 point here. Nothing. The chime you're hitting after I hit it 10 times, that's the 100-point chime going off. And do the output, same thing, nothing. I did check continuity on the board between here and the spider chip, so absolutely that spider chip there is bad. Unfortunately, not only do you have to get a spider chip for another board, this spider chip here has to match one of the other spider chips, and there's 4 different options it could be. So even if you get an old board, you got to make sure that that board matches. So your odds of just getting a board and just grabbing the chip, throw it in there, about 25% that it's going to work. That you're going to have the right chip, and that chip is going to be good, because these are the ones that always goes bad because they control the solenoid. So probably junk, unfortunately. So anyway, take care.